Students, we're now focused on exercise 4B. We're going to be naming the file exercise or last name underscore ID4A, or I'm sorry, 4B. So hopefully it doesn't get too confusing. If you're off a little with the names, just do your best to follow along with the instructions. But I'm not going to count you down right now for the names because it gets kind of confusing in this intro class. I get a little bit more strict as you get further along in the program or further along into InDesign or any of the other software program courses. But please try to just do your best with trying to naming conventions. It's important in the industry. Okay, so we're going to launch InDesign and make sure that you're doing opening the same file as we had open before. However, that file was ID4A. We're going to quickly name that file, save as ID4b. Okay, just so that now we're going to have a second exercise file based on the first. Now we're going to place the last of your 4 images that I asked you to find. We're going to place those on top of the text. So go ahead and do a file place or Control or Command D. Of course, Control is if you're on the PC and Command is if you are on the Mac. Okay, so I placed it over here because I didn't want to place it here in the actual text. Within the text, I wanted to place it over here, and it's still too big, so I do want to double click it, shrink it, go to my selection tool. Now go over to my image and find a nice little spot for it. It's still a little big, so I'm going to hover over the lower right hand side, hold down Shift, Control, click, and shrink it. Okay. I'm also going to position it in an area that I think it might look good. There, keep it there. And the next thing I want to do after I've now placed it is I want to open the text wrap panel. We're going to go to Window, Text Wrap. We want to have that available. And we're going to select the third icon from the top, which is Wrap Around Object Shape. Okay. Actually, it's supposed to be Jump Object. That would be the 4th icon from the top. Apologize for that. And you'll notice that the copy has jumped it, because if you hit Jump Object, you're also going to want to make sure that there's some space above and below. So if I keep doing this, you see what ends up happening is the spacing kind of changes, but it allows space above and below the image so that text doesn't run right into it. So go ahead and play around with that, but make sure you definitely have it on Jump Object, and it's going to want you to type in like maybe a point. This is a little high. I think it can just be 0.1, and then you can keep those settings the same. And then you notice it does get close to the image, but it's not too close. Okay, and then you can adjust by bumping up and down like so. All right, so now your image is nestled in the copy, so the copy will jump over the image and begin below. The next thing you want to do is using the direct selection tool, hover over the donut hole. So you can hover this way while being in the selection tool, and it will automatically bring you right inside if you click. If I move this over like this, what's happening is I'm moving the image behind the image text box. So behind the frame of the text box. So what I want you to do with the direct selection tool, you could do it here too, and then it's going to allow you to move it like so. There's no longer really a donut hole because you're already targeting that direct selection. All right. So I want you to go ahead and move it a little bit just so you realize what's happening. And then I want you to go to the free transform tool and find the hidden rotate tool. And then I want you, while it's selected, if you go to rotate, similar to how we went to scale, I want you to now rotate it 5 degrees. Double click, 5 degrees, okay. So you can see how it's sort of rotated behind the frame. So I'm going to go back to my direct selection tool so I can move it. Kind of shows that, like so. Now we're going to double click on the scale under that same area, just getting you used to scaling images. Now we're going to scale at 80%. And then you can always go to your direct selection tool, back to it. Do something like this. Okay, so it kind of looks like it was an image maybe placed, or even a photograph itself laying out on the layout here. Okay, the next thing you want to do is notice the changes that we made, and then using the type tool, I want you to highlight the top line in the text. So you go to your type tool, go ahead and highlight. You can triple click to get to that, and highlighting the top line of the text, and I want you to enlarge the text 2 points. You can go straight up here and make it 14 point. Okay, and then I want you to make that type bold, so from regular to bold. All right, and then type tool, highlight the top line, enlarge it, make it bold, and then using our type tool, create a box of type in the slug at the bottom. So we're going to also keep our type tool. We're going to create a little box of type here. And then what we're going to do with that box of type is we're going to type in high res PDF. I'm going to highlight that and enlarge it for you. High res PDF, 4-color process, to be printed at 500 quantity, double-sided. Okay, so you're going to type that in. I most often prefer to keep that color as a black color because that's how it will print out if the printer actually prints that out. For example, you might have a pretty complicated job and you might have 3 separate things to print. And so one, you might want to note something below so the printer knows. And when they're aligning it with something else, perhaps there might be some small indications that the designer needs to tell the production crew. So that is exactly what this little slug area is for, and I wanted you to practice that. The next thing I want you to do is to reveal the character styles panel. Go to Window, type in Tables, Window Styles, Character Styles. Okay, so now we have character styles, and the nice thing is I want you to reveal the character styles, and then if you don't see that, you're gonna want to make sure you go up to Window, Styles, Character. Double click on the text that we made larger and bold. I don't really need this one in the second line, but you can triple click, and there you got it. And then we're going to hover over the new character style icon, and you can see that down here at the bottom of the character styles panel. If you click on that, you'll notice that a character style 1 shows up here. Okay, and then you're going to want to click on this and look at it, the makeup of the styles. So double click on it and take a look. Go to its basic character formats. It's picked up your Myriad, Pro, Bold, 14 point. That's all really important. Okay, so I want you to note that you can do that. And if you have a long document, you can provide different character and paragraph styles. There's a paragraph style, selected with it. And I can do the same for this. and then double click, you can see, if you go to the basic paragraph styles, it has picked up everything, even the leading. So this is really critical and wonderful for times that you want to save and be efficient in your work, especially when working with long documents. Okay, the next thing you want to do is save your file. That's going to be it for this particular exercise. So we just want to go ahead and save. Okay, and I'll see you in the next video.